Hello everybody, Dokkan Assets here. Today we are back with another Dokkan Battle animation analysis video. I did not expect to be making this video tonight, nor did I expect to be making another video tonight, but here we are. The voice Super Vegeta has just dropped on JP Twitter, and you guys seemed to really like the Janemba animation analysis video, so I figured I would go ahead and take a look at the Vegeta animations for y'all and give my keen eye as to what I think about the animations. Now, we are going to be doing it a little bit differently for them before. One, since I do want to get this video out fairly quickly, you know, your boy got to capitalize, your boy got to make that bread, chase that bag, you know what I'm saying. We're going to be doing it just with the music in the background and muted. I mean, to be fair, I did have it muted so Janemba wasn't shouting in your ear last time. But we're also going to do this on my YouTube channel, and we're only really doing it this way just because we can get better slow-mo shots here, because before when we were doing it at just normal speed, right, it was fine, but then if we wanted a frame, right, we had to struggle with the Twitter bar, and this way we can literally just go frame by frame with YouTube, or if we want to slow this down with the playback speed, we can. So we have a little bit more versatile of a player here. Let's go ahead and just watch through the essays one time before we actually give like a proper analysis about this. So we'll talk about Cell as well, since he's here. I don't think that there's too much to talk about with him. Basically, like, it's all good, but oh man, I gotta say, definitely the active skill is my favorite part about this. Of course, if you want to listen to it, the video is up on the channel and of course on the Dokkan official Twitter page. But we do have the Final Flash animation here as the actual super attack animation, which I think makes sense because obviously I know we've been talking about in videos for the past couple of days that, like, oh, and that Gale screen is so good. We've been talking about in videos the past couple of days that, like, when it comes to the animations for this guy, if he wasn't getting it on the super attack for the Final Flash, right, you would get the active skill in the Final Flash one time. It is kind of a shame, though, that the active skill is not the Final Flash, because then obviously the whole Final Flash isn't actually voiced, right? But at the same time, if they were going to pick anything for the active skill, obviously I think everybody, you know, wanted it to be the Ore wa Super Vegeta, you know what I mean? Only makes sense for it to be that too, and obviously that means that this is like a boost type of active skill rather than a attacking type of active skill. So let's go ahead and analyze everything that we've got here. Cell, I actually really like this SA, and because even though there is not that much to it, there is so many little movements in this that make this essay so clean. So already off the bat, there's so much we could talk about in just this 3 seconds here. First of all, when Cell is just standing here, we literally have all of this minute movement. I can't speak because I'm so excited. With this minute movement, right, this is a thing that shows how absolutely insane Dokkan has gotten with these essay animations, because previously, before now, this guy would have just been a PNG that would have been floating in the sky, right? But it's so cool that Dokkan adds these little details to the essays to make them really feel alive. Obviously, it's cool that they add a little bit of extra movement right before the tail moves to kind of give it the, you know, feeling like he's about to attack. Then obviously we have the tail movement, which I think looks absolutely fantastic. The whack onto the ground. Unfortunately, the sprite is highlighted a little bit here, but it is what it is. You can even see Cell moving a little bit. Besides, I'm not like the motion where he flies away, but I mean like when he's just chilling in the sky, his body is still moving into another position, which is so cool. And again, really brings the essay to life, I feel like. Obviously, landing here, it's nice. It feels like the shot actually has some impact. I love the way that the rock and the smokes look. They look great. This part is cool, too. Obviously, a little bit of mouth movement. And then, of course, he does the Galagun to, you know, taunt the boy Vegeta. You gotta let him know, right? Let him know who's got the superior attack. And I think this looks fine. Even though that this is basically just, like, Cell PNG here. And I don't want to say they cheat, right, with making him move, because like instead of giving him the whole, you know, animation of him moving, they have him shout. The key blast, right, like blinds you with the white light, and then it cuts to Cell already firing the key blast, which I don't have a problem with, because obviously then, you know, since he is only a side unit, it makes sense that his SA isn't going to be as absolutely insane as the main banner unit. But I think it's fine. I would have probably preferred him chucking it forward, even if it was like that in the anime. But still, I think it looks good. And obviously, just the beam effect with him flying, or him firing it forward, rather. The beam effect looks good too. Nothing too crazy to complain about here. Rock explosion looks good. And I really, really like that at the end of this, they added in the island getting blown up too. And I think that the explosion effect looks pretty good too. I love the actual like mushroom cloud kind of, or what would you call that? Just like the sphere expanding on the island. I think that is pretty cool. I will say the only thing about it though is like in the beginning, the ball just kind of like growing big is a little bit weird, but then I do like this part a lot. But overall, very nice. I don't really think I have any major complaints with it. This animation, I think, is really, really nice. The only things that I think from watching it a couple times, I love that smile, it's so good, is there is a couple of snappy movements in here that kind of caught me off guard, but I think the rest of it is fine. Yeah, like right there, right? Those literal like 3 frames. Let me see if we can get those on the Jumbotron here. So his arm goes from down, snap, snap, right? It's just so weird. Let's see if we can get the exact frame where it changes here. Thankfully, now that we have the keyboard at our disposal. Yeah, so like it's not too bad. But it is a little bit weird that it's like kind of unnatural, right? Like that, right? And then I think that there's one more, or did we already miss it? No, I think we already missed it. Because he goes up, right, which looks fine. And then he opens his finger. No, it is a little bit farther back. Either way, I think you understand what I'm trying to get at here, right? Yeah, from right there, where he goes from his arm at his side to it lifting up a little bit. Oh my gosh, look at the arm at the top. That is really odd. See, that looks jank when you look at it like that. And then also, does his armor change as well? I swear the like color on his armor... No, okay, the armor doesn't change. Still so weird, like that the position changes completely like that. But in motion, it's obviously a lot harder to tell. But still a little bit jarring, if you ask me. And then, too, right there as well. I think when he points to himself, which would be right here, it's not as bad because, like, you know, that kind of makes sense because it's a snappy movement, you know, the Orega Super BEJITA, you know. Obviously, it makes sense that it would be right there. But let me see, like, here? It could definitely be a little bit more natural, you know what I mean? This is kind of addicting to do this back and forth. Anyhow, though, overall, definitely very solid. I really like it when Dokkan does these close-up shots. And obviously, this is a great way to emphasize this animation. This is a fantastic way to kind of get the point home. Not only, obviously, you know, that this is Super Vegeta, but of course, how impactful that this is, that of course, he's achieved this new form. I like this a lot, and I think the motion lines work really, really well for this too. Love the lip flap movement as well. Obviously, you love to see when the active skills have actual lip flaps. Now, I have to say, funny enough, I'm almost more impressed with this beginning part. Because this is almost more reminiscent of like what you would think with sprites. But I think that this part looks amazing for how small it is. First of all, the clouds in the water look good. And I'm not as mad about the snappy, like, maybe this is a little bit weird, but it's not too bad. It's definitely not as bad as the close-up shots, in my opinion. But this obviously really works for this scene, right? Like, I think snappy movements aren't a bad thing. It's just you have to know when to use them properly. And I think that that is a perfect example of using them properly. Let's go back to the beginning here, right? So it looks okay when he, like, goes together. But obviously when he flies his arms out, right, then that looks great. Everything here looks really, really nice. I want to point out, too, the way that they did his fingers coming together. Obviously, the pulse right there. I don't think I've ever seen a Dokkan animation do that. You can let me know in the comment section below, but that is a great way to symbolize power in an animation. 100%. His fingers. Let me go back to that. I know it sounds... I sound like I'm pulling Akira Yoshikage out here, bro. Look at the little movement in his face. It kind of looks like he's making a butterfly. That's funny. That looks really, really cool, in my opinion. The way that they did that to emphasize it. Obviously, all of the ki here looks fantastic. I don't think that there's any denying that. And again, the snappy movement right there from his hands up to right together makes sense because that's what happens in the scene, right? He chucks his arms out and then it goes whoosh, with his hands landing together, right? We'll take a look at that. Actually, real quick, just so you can understand the point. Let me change it out of one-time speed real quick and then just show you what I mean, right? It does look a lot more fluid, though, I will say. That beginning part where he closes his body together, obviously when it's in full-time speed, that's something important to keep in mind, that we're obviously looking at this and dissecting it, right? But I think this section looks really, really good with him throwing his arms up and then bringing them together. Looks perfect, in my opinion. I think that looks really, really cool. Anyway, moving on to the next section here. Obviously, we got a little bit of pulsing. Key effect looks great. Obviously, it looks just like the anime. I love this close-up shot of here. This is such of a... It just looks great. The electricity is so nice. These days, I tend to be a lot more impressed by Dokkan's effects. And I think that they nailed it with the effects on this one. As well, I gotta say, nice card art, by the way. Holy moly, bro. The way that the way that his body pulses in this section after the smoke is so accurate to the scene. And look, even his hair moves a little bit, but the way that his body's like, you know, like pulsing that way, oh my gosh, that is so cool. I didn't even know that they could like pull that off, I guess. I didn't even really like think about that until now looking at that scene again. But yeah, really cool. Love the way that the lightning comes down. I think maybe more appropriately for this would maybe be like 0.5 speed, because it almost looks like it's on 2x speed, but I can't really tell. But I think the electricity effects look fantastic. They look perfect. The smoke looks really, really good. Yeah, the pulsing. Oh my gosh, the pulsing is so good. Now, I will say, I do really like the way that his face, like, moves and looks. It is kind of weird. Like, by the way, the smirk there is, oh, peak. Looks really, really good. Am I just tripping, or, like, is his arms not that far down when he fires it off? Like, he's firing at the ground, right? Because, you know, they make the whole joke about, or the joke, they make the whole thing about, like, oh, it could destroy the planet. Is his neck craned like that? I'm pretty sure that it is. It still just looks like a little bit awkward, but if that's how it is from the original scene, then that's fine. But either way, the rest of everything here, besides the awkward neck angle, looks great. We have the ki flaring up around him. We have our boy's, obviously, facial expressions on point, like I said. The hair as well looks really, really good. I love that that's something about modern essays that they have really taken into consideration, is that the hair moves in any animation, even if it's just a minor thing. I think it looks really, really good like that. And obviously the shaking adds a lot to the scene because it makes sense considering it's kind of what Vegeta's body's doing. This, I'm not really a big fan of when they just make like a circle go big. Always, for me, it looks a little bit tacky, but it's not the worst thing. Definitely love the black and white shots. Always love those in Dokkan. This looks great, though. The beginning of the Ki Blast firing off. And then, obviously, I mean, that looks fine again. I think they could do a little bit better than just the circle. But this is really nice. I think this captures the perfect look of how the actual blast looked in the anime really, really well. I love the dirt and destruction coming off of the planet. I think it looks really, really good. Let's watch it again just for a little refresher in the normal time speed. You can't even really notice the circle, to be honest, which, like, again, is less why I have a problem with it, because, of course, when it's moving so quick like this, right, you literally can barely tell it's there. This looks so cool, though, and obviously that shot where it's the circle is there for a second, but this looks so good in motion, and then obviously that KO screen is heat. That is so good. You love when they give a good KO screen, and I think that looks absolutely fantastic. No, nothing, honestly, about this KO screen is off-putting to me. I love, again, the little minute details that they do with the movement, right? Obviously, he's breathing really heavy. His body is still kind of recovering from the attack. You know, he's moving very subtly, and, of course, the smoke in the background looks good with all of the rocks. Overall, I would say a very, very solid Dokkan Battle animation. I really, really like this guy. I think that he is definitely going to be a unit that stands the test of time for a long time to come when it comes to Dokkan Battle animations. Like, if they made this guy a couple of years ago, obviously there's no way that he would look this good. And I think that they did the scene justice. I think that the scene looks really, really good. I'm glad that they gave this man a good card. Obviously, he deserves it. He deserves good animations. Fantastic scene. Yeah, I really like it. I know it may sound like I'm like dogging on it, and then I'm like, yeah, I really like it. That's like, wait, what? But obviously, because, you know, I like to analyze it and be meticulous about it. Of course, you know, it's going to make it sound like that. But of course, I always try and point out what I like about it too, the minor details. The only other thing that I think I didn't cover that I did want to say is I love the way that his hair looks. I do kind of wish that it would have moved a little bit there, but this frame is not there for that long, and you're not really looking at his hair. But I love the way that it looks so, like, disoriented, because obviously that's perfect for this scene. Also, funny cell sprite. Funny cell sprite. Oh, God, you got to fix the sprite, bro, please. It looks so good. That's the, you know what? That's the biggest part. That's the biggest problem that I have with this, is this sprite. Anyhow, though, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know if you would like me to keep doing these videos, because I really, really enjoy doing these animation analysis videos, since I love taking a look at the animations in Dokkan anyway. Obviously, this type of video is right up my alley, and I really, really enjoy it. So, hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts on Super Vegeta's animations in the comment section below, and I'll catch you in the next one. Dokkan Assets out. Peace.